Vidharbha, and to invite investments from various sectors suited for this region. We all know that Vidarbha boasts a wealth of natural resources, making it an ideal location for various industries. The region is rich in minerals, including coal, manganese, limestones, iron ore. These resources can fuel growth of mineral-based industries such as steel manufacturing, cement production, automobile companies, industrial equipments, etc. So this session is about mining and particularly about Vidarbha as emerging hub for artificial sand. As a part of strengthening Vidarbha's position, we had US-India Alliance and Honorable US General Counsel Mike Henke visited Vidarbha last week. And as an outcome of the visit, Mike wanted to extend cooperation in many fields, particularly in mining. And therefore, we have Ms. Richa Bhala, Political Economic Chief of US Consulate General, Mumbai. Please give her a warm welcome by putting your hands together for her. She has been working with the US Consulate General for the past 15 years, and she has a very strong profile in this field. We are really glad that she agreed to deliver the keynote address for this session. Welcome, Richa, and I extend a very warm welcome to you in this session, and I now request you to deliver the keynote address and have a conversation with all the delegates and speakers and guests that are here, keenly waiting to listen to you. Richa, just a minute. We are not able to hear you. Sorry for the interruption. Just a minute. We are adjusting the sound levels here. Richa, sorry, we are just setting up the speakers here. Really sorry and apologies that you have to wait. Yeah, Richa, we are set here.
Okay, great. They're saying in the chat that you can hear me, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. It was a little bit tough to hear all of you, but hopefully I'm coming in loud and clear. Thank you for the very warm introduction. It is a real privilege to be with you at Vidharbha Advantage. I'm so excited to be here speaking with you today on behalf of the U.S. Consulate General in Mumbai. Just to start, I would like to let you all know that my name is Richa. I'm the Political Economic Chief at our consulate, and I have a very deep personal connection to India. 50 साल पहले मेरे पिता अमेरिका तक इमिग्रेट की पढ़ाई के बाद, और इसलिए मैं अमेरिका में पैदा हुई थी और अब मैं भारत में वापस आई हूँ। hasn't been in office, not even a month yet, but you'll all have seen that Minister for External Affairs Jay Shankar was in the front row of President Trump's inauguration. You'll have seen that the first bilateral meeting that our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, had was with Minister Jay Shankar, followed by an engagement with the Quad, that's India, United States, Japan, and Australia. In that first bilateral meeting, we spoke about critical and emerging technology, defense, energy, and a free and open Indo-Pacific. Shortly thereafter, President Trump and Prime Minister Modi spoke by telephone. They talked about regional security, specifically in the Indo-Pacific, bilateral trade, U.S. security equipment, and plans to visit, as well as India hosting the Quad Summit later this year. I'm here today to talk to you, members of the iron and iron ore mining industry, to talk about critical minerals. But I did want to start with that overview of what an exciting time it is for our bilateral relationship, how much is happening, and how happy we are to be moving the world forward together as India and the United States. So critical minerals is a topic many of you may have heard much about in the preceding years, and many of you in this room may even be experts. So I'm just here to give a little bit of why this matters to U.S. and Indian national security, geostrategic policy, and how we conduct foreign policy as well. Critical minerals is about both the supply of critical minerals and how resilient that supply chain is. So both how much do we have and is the way it's coming to us resilient. Both the United States and India are import reliant for critical minerals. And the United States has taken a whole of government approach to work with our partners and allies on ensuring that the world has what it needs when it comes to critical minerals. That whole of government approach includes my department, the Department of State, but also the U.S. Department of Energy, the U.S. Department of Commerce, the U.S. Department of Interior, and others. These critical minerals are everywhere, whether it's cell phones, computers, planes, trains, advanced electronics, defense. All of them have tiny pieces of critical minerals that help make them run. The U.S. Department of Interior has taken a look at all these components, and it has declared 35 minerals of special value and importance for our national security. So, on that list of 35 are some minerals you will recognize, like rare earth, that are used in EV motors and wind turbines, lithium, cobalt, and high-purity nickel, that are used for energy storage, platinum, which we use for catalysts for automotive, chemical, and fuel cell chemistry, which are used in semiconductors. I'd like to point everyone to President Trump's federal strategy from 2017 for critical minerals, and I'd like to outline a few key areas where I think the U.S. and India can work together, and I would love to work with any of you in the audience on this particularly. The first is research and development. Critical minerals are critical because there are not a lot of them, and the supply chain isn't always secure with dependence on one or two countries. So how do we expand the quantity and the supply chain resilience? R&D is going to be a crucial component of this. Working together between academia, the private sector, and government, we can develop new ways to use critical minerals, whether it's through mining, whether it's through secondary sources such as recycling, or whether it's through innovative sources like coal byproducts. All of these provide opportunities to increase the quantity of critical minerals at our disposal, as well as to increase the security of the supply chain. One initiative that my office is taking the lead on, along with our Consul General Mike Hankey, is the Battery Proving Initiative in Pune. We're trying to work together between our national laboratories, our scientists, our industry, and our governments to to innovate to create next generation battery technology. We hope that next generation battery technology would be less reliant on lithium, but still be able to power the things we need. In doing that, we would have greater security. Some other topics outside of R&D, and I won't go through the whole federal strategy, but just for your awareness, include supply chain diversification, trying to get more minerals from more sources so a single country does not dominate. And so global or social or political events couldn't cut off our supply without a moment's notice. Another area is working in geography and topography, trying to figure out where there could be stores of new critical minerals in the world. And the last element today I want to mention is about workforce development. There's no way we can work together on this important task without building up our workforce for these jobs. Whether it's the scientists doing R&D, the miners who are extracting, the logistics experts who are figuring out supply chain diversification, across our workforces we need people who are ready and able to contribute to our critical mineral strategy. So I told Amit today I just wanted 5 minutes, and I want to thank you for the great privilege and honor of addressing the Vidharbha Advantage, of addressing all of you, the experts and the folks on the ground working every day on mining of iron and iron ore and building India as well as India's relationship with the United States. I want to plant the seed today about the importance of critical minerals for our national security, for our trade, and for our workforce development. And I look forward to working with any of you who see opportunities in this important area for the U.S. and India to work together. Thank you so much. Dhanyavad and namaskar.
Thank you so much, Richa. On behalf of the entire team of Advantage Vidharbha, I extend our deepest gratitude to you for your outstanding keynote address. Your insights were not only thought-provoking, but also they will definitely inspire meaningful dialogue between India and US. And the passion and expertise you brought to the stage have undoubtedly left a lasting impression on all of us. So please put your hands together once again for Richa Bhala, Political Economic Chief, US Consulate General, Mumbai. Now, moving on to our session about Vidharbha as emerging hub for artificial sand, I would like to introduce our speakers and moderator for the session. I would begin by introducing our moderator. So the moderator for this session is Mr. Pramod Patwardhan, Business Associate for Volvo Construction and Mining Equipments for last 25 years and other associate businesses. Please put your hands together for Mr. Pramod Patwardhan. I would now like to invite our esteemed speakers on the dais. Dr. Atul Vaidya, Vice Chancellor, Lakshmi Narayan Institute of Technology and immediate past director of NEERI, bringing expertise about the subject on the stage. Mr. Anil Kumar Singh, Director, Technical Operations, WCL Nagpur. Mr. M.M. Abdullah, Director, Production and Planning, MOIL Limited. Dr. Yashwant Katpatal, Dean, Research and Consultancy and Professor of Civil Engineering at VNIT Nagpur. Mr. Abhay Joshi, Managing Director of Lakshmi Keshav Constructions Nagpur. Mr. Sudhir Karlekar, General Manager, Sales, Proman Infrastructure Services Private Limited. Now, I request our convener for coal and mining sessions, Mr. Ajay Mrig, to please join us on the stage, and co-convener, Mr. Jitendra Nayak, MD for Ang Seals, to please also join us on the stage. Please put your hands together for both of them. May I now request Mr. Jitendra Naik to start with his opening remarks and introduce our esteemed speakers.
Thank you, Asavi. It gives me great pleasure to stand here in front of you, and I wouldn't dare to say something like opening remark because I don't think I'm qualified in front of this esteemed set of gentlemen who are sitting here who will throw light on the subject of the day, which is we are talking about artificial sands or M sands. Many of you know about this, and many of these gentlemen here are experts covering various aspects of this whole concept we are going to talk about. So the concept basically which we thought of and to highlight in this particular expo was, the biggest problem today is riverbed sand. And it's getting highly restricted for supply for concrete construction. Every other day you read in the newspapers what's happening to sand getting banned, and then, all the people in the construction industry know how difficult it is to get sand and at what price, astronomical prices. So this is going to be a big challenge. Machine-made sand has been well known, as you will know. Mr. Singh will give a presentation. It's been around for a long time. But it's not popular, not because it has any technical deficiency, but it's a conceptual problem. So hopefully today's session we will be able to drive away some of those conceptual misconceptions. When we talk about Vidharbha, because this is an advantage Vidharbha session, what Vidharbha has in store for machine sand, in the sense what kind of raw material deposits we have, and essentially basalt, and whether, how we'll go about getting to this mineral and how we can set up plants to produce M sands. We'll also talk about the positive effects, or rather the effect of erosion of riverbed because of sand excavation and what it is doing to our environment. So there is also possibility of using overburden from metal mines for producing such sand. So that's the basic concept note. That's my introduction to the subject, and I will now go forward and introduce our esteemed guests today. I'll start with Dr. Shri Anil Kumar Singh. He's a Director Technical Operations in Western Coalfields, widely traveled all over the world for studying modern coal mine projects and equipments, especially for coal gasification, paste fill technology, and critical mineral assets. I think these are all emerging technologies, especially I hear paste fill is going to be something which will find more and more applications going forward. So we have, he's also chairman of Nagpur branch of Mining Geological and Metallurgical Institute of India. Next I have Dr. Yashwant Katpatal. He's Dean, Research and Consultancy and Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, VNIT. He's head of department. I think he's acting director today at VNIT, yeah. So a round of applause, please. He's widely traveled all over the world for conferences on environmental management and holding 6 patents on his research in RS and GIS, which I'll request him to elaborate a little more on. And he's decorated with several awards at national and international levels. We have Shri Mirza Muhammad Abdullah. He's Director Production and Planning, MOIL, Manganese Ore India Limited. He's a gold medalist in mining engineering. Mr. Abdullah has hands-on experience of 37 years in various capacities and in mine planning and development and many other aspects. His major achievements are method of stoping, strata control, and mine supports, very much related to the subject of the day. He's widely traveled. He has been awarded at the national level on many occasions. We have Dr. Atul Narayan Vaidya, Vice Chancellor of Lakshminarayan Institute of Technology, formerly Director at CSIR NEERI, and he's basically an Elitian and MTech from IIT Bombay and a PhD in Chemical Engineering from this very university where we are sitting today. 34 years of research experience in environmental science and engineering, especially in waste management, greenhouse gas emissions, etc. Worked for Stockholm Convention UNFCCC and Minamata Convention, has 80 plus research publications in peer-reviewed journals, and has handled 200 plus projects in environmental issues in steel refineries, etc. Widely traveled all over the world again. We have Abhay Joshi. He is the proprietor of Lakshmi Keshav Construction. 30 years experience in flat schemes, constructions, as well as industrial sheds and plants, institutional buildings, hospitals, and convention center. Chitnavis Center, which is very popular in Nagpur, has been built by him. Currently executing projects in Mumbai in warehousing. Finally, we have Sudhir Karlekar. He is General Manager Sales in Proman. They manufacture M-Sand manufacturing equipment. He's worked extensively in the stone crushing industry and artificial stone sand crushing plants. 26 years of experience in mining and crusher industry. He has headed Hyundai for their mining equipment and Billa Engineering Corporation also for their mining sectors, divisions. So with that, Pramod, I hand over the session to you, and we look forward to a very enriching and informative session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jitu. As you well said that we are too small to introduce and discuss with the dignitaries on the dais. Thank you very much, everyone, for your attendance. And we started a little delayed. Thank you very much for your patience. So I'll take request and Singh Saab to take the small presentation what he has. He has a very tall experience in the subject today, and during our invitation he has accepted our request for presenting the details on the artificial sand, which WCL has already gone ahead. So may I request the dignitaries to just take a seat little here so that the audience can see. Are you? Oh, okay. Because they also can see that. So I hand over the mic to A.K. Singh Saab for the small presentation and give us insight on the artificial science.
Good afternoon and namaskar to you all. I am from WCL, Western Coalfield Limited. This is a coal mining company. We produce 69 million tons of coal annually, and this company was established in 1975. We are presently working with 52 mines, and most important thing is the OB removal. We remove 400 million cubic meter of OB annually. And here lies the solution for sand, because some part of OB contains sand also. For those who don't know about OB, we get coal in layers, which we call it a coal seam, and above that layer of coal, the material is called OB, overburden, which is a waste material for us. That is necessary to be removed before coal is extracted. So this OB contains several items like muram, like sand, rocks, igneous rock, anything like that. So our journey for getting sand from OB started in the year 2017, because we are also aware that getting river sand is becoming difficult. So we took initiative, and WCL was the first company in Coal India to get sand from OB. For that, we established our first pilot plant in the mine Bhanegaon OCM near Nagpur with a capacity of 150 cubic meter per day. And we got sand, and about 57,000 cubic meter of sand was sold, mainly to NIT. Then our second plant in the same mine came in the year 2018 with a capacity of 250 cubic meter per day. After that, we went for a higher capacity plant, which was outsourced in the mine called Gondegaon, where we got sand from OB. After the OB is crushed, processed, and then we get sand. This had a capacity of 2,000 cubic meter per day. But this was the year 2020, and due to the period of Corona, the sale of sand became an issue. There was no construction activity going on near Nagpur, and so the contractor, left that plant, and in the year 2023, that plant was stopped. After that, we went for fourth sand plant at a mine called Balarpur OCM. This has been commissioned, and we have got EC for that. This is going to start commercial production very soon. Apart from making sand from OB, we have also a patch in mine Bhanegaon where we are getting very rich sandy OB, which is more than 65%. Then we decided to sell that OB only. That we call a sandy OB, and the rate was decided. And fortunately, after auction, 5 lakh cubic meter of that sand OB was sold. And then Moil also took 50,000 cubic meter of sandy OB from that. So we are selling that sandy OB also. From that, anybody can process and get sand quickly. And you know the benefits of sand from OB, because this is environmentally sustainable, and there is no dredging of river beds, conservation of riverine ecosystem. All these benefits are there. And what is the requirement of sand in Nagpur? We inquired and we got a figure. The requirement of OB near Nagpur is about 5 lakh brass annually, and out of which 3.25 lakh is perhaps available with river ghats. So there is a gap. WCL thinks that we can fill this gap. Although sand is not our core business, but we are there to support the society by doing this venture. Next. This is the sand that we have sold till now. We have sold about 2,11,000 kilometers of sand from 17-18 onwards, and with a revenue of 12.24 crores. And regarding OB rich in sand, we have sold 25,000 kilometers, and total revenue to the company is 12.76. This quantity is very less. I personally think that this can be increased. Now the resources that we are having, the OB from which sand can be extracted or developed, these are the mines where we have a resource of 97 lakh brass sand can be extracted from our OB. In fact, you see the total OB of this company is 400 million cubic meter. It's huge. Next. Now the issue is why, actually, in fact, we faced some issues that there were no takers of our sand during COVID period particularly. The issue that we find is the cost of OB. You see, our cost of sand is 520 rupees per cubic meter. That translates to 1472 rupees per brass. But the royalty of the government is 600 rupees, and consequential charges of DMF, NMET, all added together with GST, it becomes 2,268 rupees per brass. I think this is one of the reasons. And then we have compared the royalty charges in other states. So this way we could find the royalty charges per brass in different states is much lower than what we are finding in Maharashtra. These are the figures there. So we personally think that if this part is taken care of, this sand from OB can take off well. Next. Apart from that, we also are having basalt in our mines. There are two mines particularly, Makar Dhokra 3 and one mine at Urdhan in Madhya Pradesh, where we have huge reserve of basalt. You see the quantity, 20 million, previous slide, 20 million ton in Pench area of MP and 80 million tons in MKD3. This is an OB material, it's being wasted. Regarding manufactured sand, this can be manufactured from this basalt. We have got the material tested. We will show you the test certificate. Next slide. So this is the strength of our basalt. Impact value, crushing value, specific density is 2.8. And we have got it tested and inquired from railway that this material can be used for railway track also. And this is the certificate from the basalt. So WCL can help resolve the issue of sand in Nagpur particularly. And apart from this sand, we are also selling OB, which can be used for different materials and different purposes. So WCL is there to help the society and in this field. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Singh Saab, AK Singh Saab. Let me just put the chairs, please, and I request the panel to please join again for the discussions and some interesting throw on the subject of today's. Thank you very much, Singh Sir, for enlightening. And as I explained, WCL has already gone ahead in taking steps in trying to help the artificial sand community to use and to save the ecology through the erosion of the rivers by using the natural sand. So let me request and come to Dr. Atul Vaidya, and we should like to know some in-depth knowledge on why artificial sand and the issues related to the riverbed sand which conveniently and predominantly used in the markets.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Subject, although it appears small, but it's very vast. Answer to question can be almost a 1 hour answer to this question. The major issue is twofold. One is depleting resources and environmental damage. So natural sand is formed over a time period. You're right, quite a long period. I won't say Jurassic, but it's in different geological time scale. And whereas when we use the sand and we use it normally from riverbed, it clearly disturbs the total ecology. When we call something as a river, environmentally it's not the river, it's the different ecological zones along with the flowing water, which actually gets developed alongside the river over millions of years. So when you extract sand, all riverine ecology is disturbed, especially the riparian zone and the other zones nearby the flowing water. And it has a very severe, irreversible impact on the environment, which we don't realize immediately because we don't apparently see anything around. But slowly we can feel the impact that the floodplain increases and many other things. The major issue is the floodplain that immediately gets into action, and disasters are well known about that. And we rarely realize that the root cause, we think it's a heavy rain, but it's not the heavy rain alone. It can be along with that many other things which are actually of our activity or arising out of our own activities. So that is number one. Number two, there is a limit to the sand or the riverine sand which you get from the riverbed. It is depleting and it doesn't get replenished as quickly as it is being used. So the rates are very different. So this is second aspect. third aspect is that anyway, when you are extracting coal and overburden is essential waste, essential. Without overburden, wasting overburden, you cannot get coal. As long as coal mining is there, at least open cast, you will get overburden dumps. It is another environmental issue. If you go to many mines anywhere in the world, overburden dumps, it occupies space, it has different environmental issues. So two things are actually we have to look at the perspective of using M sand in this case from basalt. When we talk of sustainability, sustainability is a major buzzword nowadays. Everybody talks of sustainability, all industrial operation. It applies to all sectors of the industries, all sectors of the activity. So resource management is one thing. Second is the how you do the processing of the resource. And third, the waste which is generated out of the resource after the resource is used. And that waste management becomes a very important thing. So resource is a depleting thing, whereas your operational processes, utilization and waste management can keep on changing. So if you are using M sand, which is basically generated out of waste of another essential activity of coal mining, environmentally nothing like that. Even if you are using little bit more energy as compared to natural sand, you will have to use more energy to get the machine sand from overburden dump. But still it is much better option as compared to depleting resource and the impacts of the environment which you are likely to face from the continuous extraction of the sand. And when there is a time that sand is not available for construction. Bangalore is typical example. I don't know, I am not from the construction industry, but many of my colleagues which are working there, they say places like Bangalore, there is no sand available, natural sand available. So there is no, but construction cannot be stopped. So such places, there is a huge scope for M sand, not only for M sand, but it is for the sand which is generated out of the construction and demolition waste. So waste, circular, C&D waste. So circular economy is the prime goal for the sustainability and which will be easily achieved by the proposed model. Only thing along with the sand, if you can really put overburden, other things in the overburden dump for some other useful products, and develop a total economic and technical model, nothing like that. It will solve the purpose of environmental issue, construction and quality, everything. Thank you. This is my primary take on this.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Vaidya. So, as I already said, we have a huge experience bank on the stage, and we have called people from the crushing industry as well as precast and end users. So, आप लोग अपने questions भी ready रखिए. We'll come back to you maybe as time permits. So, let me request Dr. Yashwant Katpatal from Vishweshwaraya Engineering Institute on the artificial sand subject, and we discussed on the geological impact and Vidarbha as a place. Do we have the basalt, or can we dream of having the crusher industry graduating into a M sand manufacturing hub?
Certainly. Fortunately or unfortunately, the complete Maharashtra is having the basaltic trap, okay, of different types of basalts which are there. And mechanically, when we see quality-wise, strength-wise, these basalts are divided into the different types of flows which are there, different materials with different mineral composition. Nowadays, the word artificial is not so bad word. With the artificial intelligence, even helping the tribes and the way they live. So artificial materials are actually the compulsion which we have, and we will have to go for these materials today or tomorrow. When we compare the natural materials, which is natural sand, with the artificial sand, which is the demand actually wants the artificial material to be there, because the fine aggregates are required by the industry, and we have to see for every avenue of this fine aggregate from wherever it is available. Maybe it is from the recycling, whether it is from the natural process of crushing or anywhere. But natural sand, certainly quality-wise, the best material. Because why it is best material? Because it has withstood every destruction, and now no further destruction can happen in the material which is sand. Okay, that is the least energy material, and hence it is the best material for construction. But the artificial material has to come because because of construction of dam, the production of the natural sand has decreased because the natural fluvial cycle of the rivers is not the same which they were producing the sand, and the complete cycle cannot guarantee or warranty the amount of sand which was generated. Now, because Vidarbha is having a good deposit of different basalts which are there, now only some precautions have to be there. Like we look for the best basaltic material which is there. We look for the land uses which are present in Vidarbha from where these materials can be extracted safely without deteriorating the land use pattern of the area. Then we should try to see that the deteriorated basaltic material, even the classification is there. For example, if I say that compact basalts are there which are tested in the lab, but the weathering extent has to be checked. What is the weathering extent of a particular basalt layers which are there, or the interlayers or intertrapians which are present in the basalt? I think all these things are taken care of. But we'll have to be more, let's say, stringent in these parameters when we are looking for mass productions. We are looking for the mass absorption of these materials, and certainly we want to replace the materials. We'll have to look for the sectors also which can easily consume these type of artificial sand. Not every sector will be technically advisable as per the IS codes. We'll have to see the sectors which can easily, without any problem, consume these materials. Okay, so that's what I feel.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yashwant, for putting us this. And maybe I can request the Vishwesvaraya Institute laboratory in case we progress and do the testing. So the testing facility should be available, I think so.
Both ways we can help. First thing is land use wise we can tell which are the avenues where you can actually look for this material. Second, the testing is already being done in VNIT in different labs whereby the aggregates are actually tested for their various properties. So this facility certainly VNIT will be very happy to provide to all the industry users.
Thank you very much, sir. So let me ask Dr. M.M. Abdullah, Director Production and Planning, MOIL India, on his take on the artificial sand, because I think you have been also using it for purposes. So maybe it will be enlighten us to understand the different ways and techniques what you used.
Thank you. Very good afternoon to all of you. We are using sand basically for the purpose of sand stowing in our underground mines. And in addition to that, we are using sand for the purpose of making RCC for the support of roadways driven in the underground. Our experience as far as this manufactured sand is concerned, we are not used it in our underground mines for stowing. But definitely with the experience we are having, we tried so many alternatives to the river sand like mill tailings, sandy overburden from WCL, basalt chips, and this bottom ash. I think the purpose of filling, that is mainly the motive of sand stowing, is definitely we can achieve with the help of this manufactured sand is also this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So maybe on the extension of the question, I can ask A.K. Singh Saab that आपने शायद बैक फिलिंग में जो सैंड ओबी से बना है उसी को शायद यूज करके काफी हद तक रिवर सैंड ना यूज करने का भी एक प्रोजेक्ट किए थे. सो मे बी यू कैन जस्ट थ्रो सम लाइट ऑन दैट, सर.
हाँ, हम लोग अपने ओबी से सैंड बनाते हैं, एक ये भी है, और कुछ ऐसा हमारे ओबी में लेयर है जो विच इज रिच इन सैंड, उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं सैंडी ओबी, विच कंटेन्स मोर देन 65% ऑफ सैंड. उसको हम लोग वैसे ही बेच देते हैं. तो मोबाइल ने वो भी लिया हुआ है और प्राइवेट पार्टी ने भी लिया हुआ है, तो उसका भी मार्केट में है.
Thank you very much, sir. So, coming to the end users, let me request Mr. Abhay Joshi, who is here from Lakshmi Keshav Constructions in Nagpur, has got a tall experience in building, development, construction, culverts, and industrial shades. And to our luck, he has worked beyond Vidarbha also, where I think nowadays, or he's been telling me that M sand is very much in Mumbai. So maybe let me ask him what is his experience of last 34 years on the subject.
Yeah, this M sand or what we say in Vidarbha as crushed sand, this is new to us. This is in Vidarbha we are using the crushed sand since last 4 or 5 years now. It generally happens then that here in Nagpur there was abundant supply of sand earlier, but in current times since last 4 or 5 years there is so much of disruption in supply of sand due to various reasons. So we did not have, our real estate fraternity did not have any choice but have some alternatives to think of. And this alternative, this blessing in disguise you also can say, because this crushed sand started, the manufacturer started the supply since 4 or 5 years, and we are using 90% of crushed sand now almost in our industry. And we are happy with it. We are happy with it because of 2 reasons. The first and foremost, as in every business, the cost of this crushed sand that we are getting, it is almost half of what we are getting for the sand currently. And the second, the quality that we get in crushed sand, in many cases is better than the natural sand. So this is obviously a boon in disguise for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhay. Thank you very much. So this is a very good news that I was under impression that the artificial sand must be expensive than the river sand, and that's why the river sand, जैसा सिंह साहब ने बताया, 5 लाख मिलियन में से 3.5 लाख river use हो रहा है. So we have a good business potential for the subject. So coming to Mr. Sudhir Tarlekar, who represents the equipment manufacturer called Proman from Bangalore. So he's been in this industry since long, and अभी वो Proman करके equipment बनाते हैं, which are primarily a manufacturer of M sand and advanced M sand. So maybe you can quickly throw some light to this.
Yeah, good afternoon. Basically, now we were just before this panel discussion, we were discussing on user Mr. Abhay sir and even WCL directors also. So basically, what is M sand or what is crushed sand we called, how we manufacture and where we can get or why we want that. Before 10 years back, people were using those. I think everybody knows the crushers, stone crushers, aggregate manufacturing. So what is the size, small size of 5 mm below material they used to throw it, or somebody say in Marathi we call bhusa or crushed material. So they used to give on free basis. But that was 10, 12 years back, it was the scene. But when the scarcity of the banning on the river sand was there, so, and plus what sir was telling, there are some high standards are there that river sand is, instead of river sand, the better is the M sand. So for that reasons, and those projects like road projects or whatever the metros or what was the growth was happened in Vidharbha and other part of India. So now the M sand is must, because without M sand, the builder lobby or road contractors or nobody can survive, because the river can't able to supply, or there is ban on that. So how the M sand is manufactured? So basically the aggregates is 600 mm is feeded, and the small stones are crushed. It is 10 mm and 5 mm is the smallest stone which is used in the concrete. So below 5 mm is the basically a sand. So that should not be used as a completely sand. 5 mm till the soil content will be there, that we call as fines. So this 5 mm below crushed material, what we call as a coarser sand, that we have to either, there are 2 or 3 types of sand manufacturing process are there. One is called as air classifier or dry process. Another is wet classifier, that is called as with utilizing the water. So some crusher owner, they utilize wet classifier. So from the 5 mm below material till the smallest like 100 microns, the IS standard tells us that for concrete sand, we should have the components, fixed components are there. That I think sir also can agree. So 4.75 is the largest component, some percentage is defined in that. Then 2.36, then 1.18 mm, then 600 micron. So whatever the equipment we like Proman is one of the company, the other brands are also there. So we are specialized in this fineness of those like 150 micron that dust or fines we have to remove 100%. So that speciality now we have in our equipment or technology we have. Second thing is that the percentage how to manage means like 200 or 600 microns we need some special as per the IS standard we have to manage the percentage. That also with these equipments, the specialized equipment we can manage. And talking on the cost point of view, like if it is a weight classifier, around 15 to 20 rupees is the manufacturing cost, including the EMI of that equipment plus maintenance. And if it is a dry classifier, little bit more, around 25 rupees per ton. I am talking about on per ton basis. So cost-wise, it is very much effective, as sir already told that around it is river sand as compared to this one. So this mechanized sand is very much cost financially point of view, it is acceptable because of the cost. And now I will come on the strengthening of the material or how it is better than the river sand. So sir also can agree because the mechanized sand or what we manufactured in the crusher with the equipments like vertical shaft impactor or some equipments are there like vertical shaft grinder. So we produce those particle in the exact roundness. If you see in 1000 microscope, microscope, 1000 multiply microscope, so you can find the river sand versus this one. I can show also on the slide. So the fineness, roundness is there, and this roundness is very much useful for the user for compactness and the other important civil parameters. So these are the things, and basically business point of view, we are sitting today here, all those who are visiting this Vidharbha advantage. So we have many projects, like we have civil projects are there, building constructions, then road projects are there, then we have metros. So all these projects we will require definitely the sand we will require. So what I appeal to the aggregate manufacturer or the entrepreneurs, even the youngsters also, they can, because the government schemes are going on, government is supporting, especially the Maharashtra state government is also supporting for the entrepreneurs. They can go for becoming an entrepreneur to manufacture the M sand. Because in Pune and other territory, if you find out, in Bhiwandi, some people they don't have the crusher and nothing they have. They will just buy the 20 mm below material, they will put one machine or two machines and they produce the sand and they sell it. So the youngsters, even the crusher manufacturer, they can go ahead with the industry people like us. We are there to provide the consultancy. And just 1 minute I will take.
Yeah, you can take it.
The second steps are like artificial intelligence, what sir said, like that. So future also we have to think beyond, what is beyond the M sand. So we are talking on the M sand. 10 years back we don't know about M sand. Now we know we are using the M sand. So what is the advantage? But what is next? If you are manufacturing M sand, like sir is saying that he is having around 5 lakh ton OB. So of course that material also we can wash it and utilize as a M sand. But what next? Because he is having plenty of material to supply to the complete Vidharbha or complete market. So the next step is that we have some technology that is called as crete, dry crete, that concrete bags are supplied along with the 60% sand, that is called as dry crete. So this is very much popular. All the major cement manufacturers, they are supplying the crete, means the concrete sand plus this one. So this is the one application of mechanized sand. Second is tile adhesives are there. Then wall putties are there. It requires 100, 150, 200, 300 microns in smaller particle that will require in even paint industry also. So this is the future again for M sand. Means if you are entering in this business of manufacturing or supplying the M sand, the again the vast you can get the market for the other product also. So any questions you can ask that on equipment or what we can answer you, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Sudhir. So I think
taken
we
more.
have time for some questions from the quarry or any relevant. I'll come back to you. You please introduce your name and your business, sir.
I am Dr. Manoj Tiwari, retired professor of mining from Vidharbha-Engineering College. My question to August panel is that since Singh Saab is having more than 300 million cubic meter of sandstone with him, why you are not able to sell it in the market? What difficulties you are facing? Because there are environmental problems are there to get sand from the river, because you have got so many plants here.
I think he just touched upon, but maybe I request Singh Saab to.
That OB2 sand plant of 2,000 cubic meter per day was started in the year 2020, and after initial sale of sand, we faced difficulties, mainly due to corona period and all that. And main thing is the cost to the party, because we are selling at a nominal charge of say 1,400 rupees per brass, but after adding to so many components of it, like royalty and all these things, this becomes 2,200 rupees per brass. Maybe that is the one part. And the plant was stopped finally in 2023, mainly because of these buyers, because we had a lot of sand, but we couldn't find the buyers. And then, but still we are going ahead, and we have got one new plant at Ballarpur mine, which is yet to, which is just going to start production. We have got EC for that. Plant is ready for that. So we are making effort. Only thing is that there has to be one ecosystem for this item. There should be buyers, because we can't hold the item there.
Thank you, Singh Saab. So maybe as you said that the awareness has to grow, and the M sand is available elsewhere, Mumbai, Pune, this. That's what I think. What you pointed directly, we are going to summarize this with a note to the government, say Gadkari Saab, that there is a different pain points which should be addressed, so that people will invest into manufacturing of artificial sand, for which the market is in their abundance, and the ecology or the sand from the rivers can be saved for our generations. So maybe I have, before we coming, Upendra from concrete industry, if you can show the advantages, because you just touched upon some advantages of, specific advantages. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Upendra Muzumdar. I have been associated with concrete and precast industry for the last 22 years. I'm the business head of an Indo-American joint venture by the name Apollo Hawkeye Peddershap, and we provide solutions for precast in infra industry. So that's what I do. One of the biggest advantage in precast for a manufactured sand, it is never an artificial sand first of all, it is a manufactured sand, is to have some manufacturing regulations while manufacturing it to give sustainable precast in future where silt is minimized. When I say silt, it is 75 micron and below sand, which is detrimental to the dry concrete in the infra industry. So that is something that as an industry where we have academicians, we have manufacturers of machines, we have government authorities, we have end users, and the crusher owners over here really have to get together to understand what does the industry require, and people like us then can provide a very, very sustainable solution to give precast manufacturing facilities. We have done that experiment for Samruddhi and Vadodara-Mumbai Expressway, where we have done some largest box culverts in the world in precast and dry cast. And the struggle that we had initially was that the sand that was coming from the quarry had microfines in it. And then the water cement ratio was going bad and we had to add chemicals, and then 2-3 batches were wasted. One entire element was wasted, which was lakh of rupees. But ultimately, the whole process took time. So if we are able to really, as academics, authorities, manufacturers of machines and crushers, we are really able to work jointly and gel together, we can actually see that our roads, our infrastructure, the speed at which we are going, Honorable Gadkari Sahab wants the roads to be built at a supersonic speed. I promise that is the future and that's possible. I am dreaming as an individual to build a road in the factory, put it in place on where it is to be put. So that's my dream. That अगर मैं रोड फैक्ट्री में बनाता हूँ, ग्राउंड वर्क बनाता हूँ, क्रेन से उठा के रास्ता रखता हूँ, तो 100 किलोमीटर रोड एक दिन में क्यों नहीं बन सकता? ये मेरा क्वेस्ट है. But the quarry owners really have to understand, the crusher owners really have to understand that you are replacing river sand, which is so pious, which is so beautiful to construct with. So we have to match with that. That is where our thought process as a manufacturer, as somebody who is in the industry, has to begin. So
Great. Thank you, Upendra, for putting this. And I request Ajay to please join and take some question.
I have a question. I have a question for Dr. Katapatal. So you touched on the subject of the natural course of the river being changed because of the dams being built. That was one part of it, and the other we keep reading in the paper because of the silting, the catchment area of the dam is shrinking and the catchment capacity is going down. The holding capacity of the dams are going down. So does the dredging and the desilting also provide a solution for recovery of sand from the dam catchment area? Is that also a viable option?
Yeah. Actually, every river has a carrying capacity. Means different rivers have different carrying capacities. And there is a natural sorting of the material, which is going in two forms. One is the suspended load and another is dissolved load. So suspended and dissolved loads are reaching different places. And certainly your sand is actually the suspended load, which has come to the lowest energy level, which will further not deteriorate. That's why they are the best of that. So construction of dams has completely changed the carrying capacity aspects of the rivers at many places. Such studies have been conducted already. Like there is a deposition in the dams, which is a bigger problem nowadays, which is lowering the capacity of the dams. And if we check the capacity today, most of the reservoirs will have 50% capacity, what they actually are there. So now the surveys are being done, which are the bed surveys, etc. My students are also working on one of the problems whereby using the satellite data, we are generating the capacities, reduced capacities of the reservoirs. So how much is the loss of the capacity because of this deposition which is happening? So these are the new year. Certainly those things are there, but the accumulated, that is the deposit which is there, cannot be directly used as a sand because that is actually a very complicated type of composition which is there. Okay. So we'll have to deal with that in a different manner altogether. Now so I think I have answered. Now touching the question which the other person he asked, very relevant question and very relevant observation, his observation in his studies, which are the precasted roads. Certainly we are looking in that direction in the future. But when we are using the mine material, like Singh Saab jo karna chahte hain ki mine ki sand ko, that the formation which he calls as sandy formation. Now that sandy formation in that series, now when you are mining the coal is in a typical type of sedimentary formation, which is a Gondwana formation. And in that the sandstone is found in 2 or 3 categories. Okay, there are sandstone is of 3-4 categories. Now this sandstone has a different types of cementing material. The cementing material which is found in other sandstones, which are other than Gondwana sandstones. Okay. Now this cementing material is detrimental to the concrete process, what he is actually talking about. And if Coal India wants, we can take this project, sir, and we can certainly find out the reasons why this sand cannot be used. Because that cementing material is argillaceous cementing material, which converts into clay and this clay is detrimental to the concrete which is there. Okay, so we can take a project, certainly means VNIT is ready to take a small project, and with other people in the industry, we can certainly a very good suggestion which is given by very good suggestion.
Thank you.
No, even the minerals which are there, which are of a particular size, as you mentioned, the textural classification, which is which is required in concrete. Yeah, but even that size is also of different mineral composition. Okay, it is not 100% quartz, which is found in sand. You have quartz, topaz, corundum, etc. Okay, here it is not 100% quartz, neither topaz nor corundum. It is also orthoclays, it is also plagioclays, it is also other things which convert into clay minerals later on. Okay, so that study is required, and certainly we will be very happy to take up this study. So thank you.
Anyone else has any questions, please?
Any questions here? Here, Jitu sir. Here, please have your business profile and name, please. Just after this, yes.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Harshit Agrawal, and I'm an entrepreneur. I have one question. Can we use this sand for making molds in metal casting? Can we use this sand for making molds in metal casting?
Molds in metal casting. So I think Dr. Vaidya can just put in. Metal casting, I think what he is referring is the use of different combination of concrete basically.
I think I'm not real expert. Metallurgy people can probably answer, but then it should not be used.
Yes.
With little bit of modification. See, ultimately you have some surface properties of sand and the particle size, which matters in the sand cast molds. Whatever I know about that, it's not precisely the sand. There are many other materials which are being used for the molds and all that. So according to me, there should not be any technical limitations on using this sand for the making of the molds, and that is a very good use actually, in fact, because we are using. But of course, and secondly, which I want to propose, that each and everything cannot be substituted by natural sand or vice versa. You have to look for the matrix of the operations or matrix of the utilities for this sand. So even if we are taking, say, overburden, there are many other things in the overburden apart from sand. So we have to come out with a good study, as Yashwant has suggested, that each and every section of or every component of that overburden or any other thing has to be looked into, and we have to come out with a matrix of complete use, in which one of the options can this also sand casting with little bit of modification. But technically and principally there should not be any problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Give the mic, please.
Hi, this is Prabjot from Zara Trade International. My question is, what is the international demand and market for M-Sand, and demerit and reason for not buying M-Sand? And does it comply with global sustainability standards and with respect to maintaining cost efficiency?
I think international demand जो है, I think India में demand अभी इतनी ज़्यादा है, so I really don't foresee that there is a export possibility. But the primary concern for all of us is to save
nice
on.
Question you had asked.
Maybe you can just put in some.
India, we have abundant requirement of this one, but beside that, like Mumbai, you know, it is more port city, so we are exporting. Our users are exporting to Qatar and Muscat. Qatar, basically they are importing the aggregate, means 10 mm, 20 mm, because the material I think in Qatar is not that much for concrete point of view, is not suitable. And Muscat, they are importing the sand, M sand. Even Bangladesh, actually the crisis happened. So Adani was having one plant in Mizoram, and Afcons is doing the railway project there. So for Afcons, I am from manufacturing side, but my end users were supplying from Vizag, and Adani was having that project in Mizoram, so he was supposed to set up the conveyors for M sand and other aggregates, all aggregates. So it is very good requirement. The neighboring countries we have good, especially for Bangladesh, they don't have any quarry. And second is this Qatar and Muscat, Oman, the capital is Muscat.
So wonderful. Thank you very much for putting the question. That means there is an opportunity for export, and youngsters like you can entrepreneur and take the tender from government, Coal India, manufacture sand, and I would be very happy that made in Vidharbha sand is found in Muscat buildings while they are erecting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Any more questions or we have time, Jitu? So, yeah, please. You go ahead.
Sir, you mentioned about the environmental, what shall I say, river sand excavation causes huge environmental damage. And you mentioned about floodplains, getting affected or, possibly. Can you throw more light? Because it can't be just that much, right? There's so much more happens which down the line because of this. Please give us 2 minutes idea on what...
See, any exploration of natural resource, and of course we cannot, basic first law of thermodynamics that you cannot create anything or destroy anything. So we have to depend on natural resources for our use. But when you are using a very vital source like river, it's a vital source. Of course, when we say mining, as an environmentalist, I will also have some problems with mining, obviously. But obviously, environmentalist will not see anything without problem. So that is a golden rule. Otherwise, he is not environmentalist. So, but the life systems like river, you have much more damaging impacts when you are actually tampering with, like one of the impacts of dam he has already specified. You are actually stopping flowing river means you are actually stopping flowing life at many places. So when you are excavating sand from the river bed, you are basically making it different river bed which has developed over the years and different river beds from ecological point of view. So there is a whole life chain process, food chain process which depending on that thing. So even the crop pattern nearby the rivers can change. Then floodplain increasing means a whole, see there is a gradual development, we call it riparian zone. So there is always some, it's like you see mangroves in the sea. Mangroves are basically arresting the intrusion of the sea water into the mainland. But if you destroy my mangrove, so you won't realize it immediately, but then after some years you will find that all the saline water has become saline. So this is the kind of impacts which we look after. So the quality of waters in surrounding area, quality of agriculture in the surrounding area, and most important, the ecology, the biodiversity of that area is lost totally and lost permanently. It will have health impacts as well as many other impacts, which goes on, it has a cascading effect. So that's why I said, the first question when he asked, I said it has a 1 hour answer, maybe probably more than that. So these are the basic impacts, and over the years due to over extraction of sand, we are not realizing, but slowly we are losing many things. And that's why there is a movement of environmentalists, but there are certain bans from the government based on this. So you cannot have indiscriminate extraction of the sand because you are tampering with a natural system, that too a very lively system like a river. Therefore, a resource management, once gone means gone, resource is gone. You cannot replenish that sand again. That is another impact. So once the sand is extracted, it takes years for the same amount of sand to get naturally from, as he said, it is the lowest energy, the whole damage has been done, and it has survived, it is the best quality. But to achieve that best quality, millions of years of flow is required. So which you are missing. Sir, this is in general, the wider impacts I can narrate in very small time.
One question in extension. Does it also affect the groundwater levels?
I said, sir, groundwater quality, groundwater quality, it impacts, there is a lot of intrusion.
Also the levels?
Also the levels and the agricultural practices nearby the river. Even after some time, you will change the pattern in the agriculture pattern also. So whole land use pattern, because ecology you are disturbing. natural water flows and ecology, everything is disturbed. So it has a very long-term bad impact. But you realize it later on, maybe 5-6 generations. So you are happy that nothing has happened in your generation. So we have to look into a broader perspective. Thank you.
So if we have any more questions, we have about 5 minutes. You have from the audience, from the crusher or any other building developers or industry? Yeah, one gentleman, please. आपका प्लीज नाम और ये बताइए सर, सो वी कनेक्ट थ्रू दी.
Myself, Dr. Shirish Bhaktiwale, and this was extremely interesting session, and it can be very, very much useful for the new entrepreneurs and those who want to go in for startups. What I would like to know is, for further interaction, who is the contact person to whom we can have more and more information about this? Thank you.
So I think Advantage Vidharbha, the committee, we will get you the committee numbers, and of course I am available for the discussion, or if you want to have any smaller group discussion, especially for the entrepreneurs, since these dignitaries are always busy in their role. So maybe if our any committee or questions comes, I can request them for the information and inputs. And I also could, as I said, that there is a lot of opportunity for the entrepreneurs, not only to manufacture sand, but there will be many variables out of this. So there could be precast, there could be any other materials, and which is the in thing. So I think the precast technology has much gone ahead. Mr. Abhay has already used, so there is some typical word for that. I'll just request him to put some 2 minutes on the precast buildings, which are, we heard in China mein 8 din mein 25 manzil ban gaya. So I think the similar things are happening in India. So maybe you can just put the precast angle to this.
Yes, our industry, our real estate industry, especially the construction line, it is going through a very interesting time now. There is a lot of technology, what exposure that we see in the newspapers, in the TV, in YouTube, and you see it, and you also see it happening in India also. That is how fast the technology is coming to India. So yes, precast is the next big thing to come in India, because of the precast, that precast means that it is made in a factory, and made in a factory means it is very good, must be good, well-maintained quality that we get when we have a factory-made product, because their parameters are very different as to what we do the casting at the site. So one, that precast technology has a good quality. The second thing is that we can do very, very fast constructions, like what Pramod was telling, like in China, in the world, there is so much of progress in how speedily we can do the projects. And in India, we are maybe somewhere we are falling back in terms of the speed of the construction. There are different problems in different regions, but then, of course, the precast technology is such a technology. Of course, just like Dr. Saab said, ये डिस्कशन का कोई इतना इंटरेस्टिंग है कि 1 घंटा भी हम लोग बोले उस पर तो भी कम है. लेकिन in short, precast technology, what I can say to you is this is the incoming thing in the region now, and it is the ये अभी आने वाली चीज है. और इसमें हम लोग जो नॉर्मली हम लोग सब बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन तो देखते ही है, करते ही है, करवाते भी है. तो बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन में जनरली स्पीड जहां हमको मिलनी चाहिए वो है स्लैब्स हम लोग जब डालते हैं तब. और स्लैब्स का जो रोटेशन होता है वो जनरली हमारे हिसाब से 15 डेज, 20 डेज, 25 डेज का रोटेशन होता है, एक स्लैब के बाद दूसरा स्लैब. तो वो कुछ प्रीकास्ट एलिमेंट्स या कुछ नई टेक्नोलॉजी जो है उसमें हम लोग वो 8 दिन में अभी नागपुर में बनाना चालू है कुछ जगह. वो ये एक टेक्नोलॉजी है जो प्रीकास्ट और दूसरी कोई एलू फॉर्म टेक्नोलॉजी है, ये सब चीजों से ये पॉसिबल हो रहा है. तो ये चीज अभी these things are now to come in Nagpur also. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhay. So if no more questions here, so I request Ajay to please come on stage and say a vote of thanks to our panelists. And yeah, please.
Before we conclude the session, we would like to present all our esteemed speakers with saplings and mementos. So I request our moderator, Mr. Pramod Patwardhan, to present all the speakers with saplings and memento. Yes. Thank you so much, honorable speakers, for offering valuable insights to the topic. And thank you so much, audience, for being involved in the session and asking relevant questions. So once again, put your hands together for both speakers as well as yourself. Dr. Atul Vaidya. Mr. Anil Kumar Singh. Mr. M. Abdullah. Dr. Yashwant Katpatel. Mr. Abhay Joshi. And Mr. Sudhir Karlekar. Last but not least, please put your hands together for Mr. Pramod Patwardhan for moderating the session so well. And now may I request Mr. Ajay Mrig to deliver formal vote of thanks. I would just like to tell you that right adjacent to this hall, in Hall B, there will be IT session in a few minutes.
Hello, gentlemen. We have 2 more minutes. I will, in the meantime, before I give the vote of thanks, I'll request Pramod to give the concluding remarks.
So on the interesting topic, I think the committee, when we started, sir, we had a lot of questions on whether to take this subject ahead because river sand versus artificial sand, or the M sand, what they call, was kind of a subject wherein some misinformation was there that it's going to be whether it will be augmenting the crusher industry or not, or whether the use of the river sand is very, very superlative and very good. That's why predominantly over the edges it is being selling. So maybe what we discussed, and then we decided that, as Abhay mentioned, the technology in concrete development and building construction as growing at a very high speed, and the technology in the individual, like we have seen the bar bending machines have gone ahead to the technology. Then the precast, as he mentioned, there are buildings which are done with the precast with the slab and the side walls together, and that's how the progress it goes very extensively in the direction where the time and money saving is there. The cost of overall construction comes down. And there were questions like the labor intensity will come down, the labor will lose the jobs or not. So in overall, then we discussed, the panel discussed, so we found that it is going to be very interesting to have more and more technical hands to come into this business. As we could see, there were questions from the very young entrepreneurs to set up the plants. So they will also need technical hands which will be investing their time and energy. So that's how the subject selected. And then for the relevance of the audience, I think we have really honored to have all the senior dignitaries from different fields for this session and discussion, and having their busy schedule, they've taken the time. So we really would like to thank them for their time and energy. And of course, the in-depth knowledge on the subject. So as I mentioned that the artificial sand is in abundance. So let me summarize some thoughts quickly for everyone. So जैसा यशवंत जी ने बताया कि नागपुर विदर्भा plateau is full of basalt, as what can understand कि बहुत सारा अपने यहाँ basalt है जिसकी opportunities अपने पास में है. So the गिट्टी के प्रेडोमिनेंटली जो क्रशर के जो बिजनेसेस हैं वो ग्रेजुएट हो सकते हैं इस सैंड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में. और जहाँ की मेरे ख्याल से काफ़ी लोगों को ये मालूम होगा कि मुंबई, पुणे, बेंगलोर में ये सैंड जो है पैकेट्स में बिकती है. 25 किलो 50 किलो जैसा सीमेंट आता है वैसे ही सैंड भी आती है. सो यू कैन टेक्निकली ऑर्डर दिस. Then, as he mentioned, Dr. Vaidya mentioned about the ecological disturbance. So, जब river का sand हम खोदते हैं तो not only the sand का percolation between those, and that is the interesting subject which he touched upon. And Trivedi Saab ने जैसा बताया कि abundance of material is there. On his side, the problem on the costing, which is because of excess royalty and the business opportunity for which जहाँ की WCL भी चाहती है कि उसका conversion हो सैंड में और उसमें से कुछ बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले. सो MM अब्दुल्ला साहब है मॉइल से कि वो सैंड बनाई हुई आपने वो खरीदने के लिए तैयार है टू रीफिल देयर अंडरग्राउंड माइंस, विच द अंडरग्राउंड माइंस में एक्सकवेशन के बाद में मटेरियल एक्सट्रैक्ट होने के बाद में देयर इज अ वाटर के साथ में सैंड फिल्म किया जाता है. सो विद दिस आई थिंक आई वंस अगेन थैंक द डिग्निटरीज हियर and for their time and energy and very interesting session. So, of course, not to forget the manufacturers which have the technology available आज नहीं और कल के लिए भी जहाँ की sand के अलावा और graduate हो करके we can use the technology. Thank you very much Abhay also for putting the youngsters idea of using precast. और हम चाहेंगे कि इसमें से जो लोग प्लांट और लगाते हैं आप उनका मटेरियल खरीद के बहुत फटाफट बिल्डिंग बनाइए. And it will be every Vidarbhian's dream that artificial sand or the machine-made sand made in Vidarbha is seen all across Maharashtra, not only in Maharashtra, maybe all across India. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. So with this, we say the session is concluded. Thanks the guest and all the attendees. And thank you very much for your time and energy too. Thank you very much, sir.